There will be intellectual connections, but they cannot be highly significant. These relationships include those between a teacher and a pupil, or a co-worker and a quota follower. They emerge from the cranium. Are romantic relationships more meaningful than intellectual ties? These are just the kind of connections between a mother and her children, between brothers and between husband and wife. Join me today as we uncover the story of the guy poured something in a girl's drink and abused her, but did not expect who would come for him. But before we dig down deep, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell and get updated whenever a new video is published. Without further ado, let's get into it. How it started. Maya managed to meet her buddy Yulia during their first day at university, as they both hailed from a modest household and belonged from a hamlet outside the city. The two young ladies realised they were suited and had a lot of similar views. They're both in the same college, but they're majoring in different fields. As a result, they agreed to share a flat at the university residence and began to devote most of their leisure time with each other as they wandered across the city, went to the shops, walked through the park adjacent to the house. Each of them lends a hand to the other. They grew out of their connection, and they never parted. Since they worried something terrible might happen, the duo fled their room late that night. However, as the months went by, they grew used to the city's environment and began to frequent the local nightclubs to dance. The two of them don't drink wine because they're just satisfied to just dance. Then they would retire to their homes right after nightfall. Maya became acquainted with a teenage boy called Elliot and began to sit at the same table with him over time. Despite Yulia's warnings about interacting with young folks, particularly at night, the young lady discovered that her new acquaintance was a normal, kind teenage boy with whom she gradually fell in love. The second season. The two friends had an incredible year at school with high grades. In the second season, they reunited after a 2-month hiatus. While they were delighted to see Yulia, they observed that her companion was her long-lost friend Elliot, which irritated her since she assumed her buddy had forgotten about the young fellow and that she'd concentrated on her academics in the future. Her buddy, on the other hand, had clearly grown in love with the young man, and she chatted about him constantly and awaited his arrival with bated breath. The young lady informed her friend that she kept in contact with him during the summer break and that their relationship had become more profound and that they adored each other and chatted on the phone each day. They're both looking forward to meeting each other anyway. Elliot contacted Maya and hoped to see her just after the best friends reconnected after the holiday. The young lady then hurriedly stood up and said her goodbyes to Yulia before leaving, without informing her where she would be heading. The latter was taken aback by the situation because they had kept nothing about her a secret since they met at university. The bashful partner. Yulia greeted Maya that night, delighted, and inquired whether her family knew regarding her relationship and also why he didn't accompany her about seeing them. Maya then informed her that she must have kept the situation from her folks and that Leo was timid. As a result, he was adamant about not meeting them right now. And who knows, maybe he'll get it when he proposes. Yulia encouraged her buddy to accompany her so she could see and get to know Elliot. They began going out with each other and having a good time. Maya informed Yulia one day that both she and Elliot planned to get married during the upcoming summer break and that they had begun arranging the event. The young lady was overjoyed when she heard the news. She wished her all the happiness in the world. Yulia advised her girlfriend to save funds and prepare for the wedding since she understands that her friend's folks do not have enough financial means to organise the ceremony due to her dad's low wage. Her mother was not able to find a job as a result of searching hard. The two were able to find employment at a preschool, wherein they worked at the nighttime shift for 2 hours, looking after the kids throughout the nursery. When the two friends earned their first paycheck, they went out shopping for wedding clothes together at the same clothing store. Maya, on the other hand, stunned her pal. She declined to shop for clothes for her boyfriend Elliot when she purchased costly footwear for him, since the cash she possessed would be practically enough to get a young lady to put off anything she had not done. She realised it seems that the young man hadn't bought her any presents ever since they became acquainted with each other. The confused groom-to-be. Once the two came back to the university college dorm, they sat back on the floor. Yulia asked Maya whether Elliot's parents and relatives were aware of the forthcoming event. Maya subsequently informed her that Elliot had promised her that everything would be great and that he had been looking forward to their wedding day. Yulia urged her buddy to go to the young man and ask him to disclose everything about his upcoming wedding, including what his folks had told him. Maya probed regarding his father's thoughts on the planned wedding once she visited her betrothed, but the young man was reluctant to answer and stated that he has not spoken with them, although he was confident that they'd never resist the proposal, which piqued the beautiful lady's interest, and she recalled her buddy's remarks. Elliot started to avoid Maya as the academic year approached, but he only saw her on rare occasions. He informed her that he's not ready to get married and that his lack of employment prevented him from entering into an established relationship. He also didn't have a car or a home. He's also undecided over whom he should marry. Maya is a personal fave over all the girls though. Once she heard the message of her fiancé, who must have offered her countless promises, the young woman was startled. She went back to her house and asked her buddy Yulia about it right away. Who could blame her for being shocked when she overheard her friend's comments while waiting for that young man to leave? Yulia attempted to reassure her friend by telling her that perhaps that piece of thing did not belong to her and was unsuitable for her, and that she should entirely forget about him. How stupid can a person be? Yulia rushed to her friend's former fiancé the next day to chastise him for what he had already done to her friend, and after she saw him, he informed her he didn't love Maya, but instead saw her as a friend. He confessed that he had been a fan of Yulia from the first time he saw her with Maya, and he began to cry, pleading with her not to forsake him. She pledged to seek revenge on the young bloke who had attempted to cause havoc on their lives. Yulia pretended to be pregnant with Elliot and caused him to blackmail him by calling his family and informing them that she has been expecting to him. However, if he would not pay back the money and the man found out about it, he was horrified because he realized that even if the story reached his folks' hearing, they would kick him out of the house. He would indeed face harsh sentences from his institution as a result of his vicious beating. Elliot pondered the situation and ended up meeting the young woman's demand that he provided her with the sum she desired, so he took all the money from his parents' house and delivered it to her. Then he told Maya about that and reported it to the police alongside Elliot right away, and she acknowledged to him that she's not expecting. The young guy could not understand what had happened to him, and when word got to his parents, they abandoned him after learning that he would have pocketed the money that they were accumulating while he was being sent to prison. Yulia wedded within 5 years, and the two of them have had a child. But Elliot suffered greatly even outside the jail, and when he was released, he found himself alone. In their very own unique ways, the two ladies extracted vengeance on the young guy who had deceived them and restored their relationship. Your best mate has witnessed you at your worst and continues to love you. They don't have to see you all the time looking lovely or put together. You may walk up wearing curlers and sporting the most giant pimple you've ever seen. It's still common knowledge that your closest friend has probably known you longer than your partner, is trustworthy, loyal, and invested in your life. Your best buddy most likely knew you as a scruffy, disgusting middle schooler, or when you puked all over yourself in your freshman year. And that's it for today's story. What do you think about today's video? Is taking vengeance needed to live a happy life? Does sacrificing mean you love that person? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Before leaving, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to get updated on our future content. With that being said, see you in the next one.